Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with our podcast, Behind Black Business. As you know, our organization, Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities, we are a nonprofit organization. We are a grassroots organization, and we are working to circulate dollars in the Black community here in Chicago. And we know the best way to do that is to support our Black-owned businesses. Why? Because our Black-owned businesses are more than likely to hire Black people. They're more than likely to do service or receive their services from other Black people. They are going to be role models for our children. And they're more than likely to give other Black entrepreneurs an opportunity to showcase their products in their business. And me personally, I enjoy supporting a Black-owned business because I like the relationship that I'm able to establish. Are all of those relationships good all the time? No, they're not. That's life. And we have to be more supportive of our businesses and not be so critical of our businesses, and understand that if we spend money with Black-owned businesses, those dollars are going to find their way back into our community. And if we look at our communities and how our communities are looking today and what is happening in our communities today, it is because those dollars are not circulating. And we also support our Black bookstores. Why? Because we need, just like proper nourishment for our bodies, we need proper nourishment for our minds. We need to be more cognizant of what we are allowing to permeate our minds on a daily basis. And we need to be reading these books that are in our Black bookstores. We once had 24 Black bookstores in Chicago. Now we only have 3. And we have a public policy division where we're working to introduce some policies to our Chicago public schools to have contracts with our Black bookstores. And this would help our Black bookstores tremendously to survive. And we used to have contracts. The city used to have contracts with our Black bookstores. And we need to go back to that. So that's part of our public policy division. We're raising dollars to help our businesses by paying business consultants, marketing specialists, and contractors to help our businesses. And so these are some of the things that our organization is doing. And then we sponsor this podcast every week to actually bring Black businesses to you. We have many Black businesses in Chicago, and I don't think a lot of people realize who they are, where they are, and all of the wonderful businesses that we have. And so that's why we showcase a business on this podcast every Wednesday night. Every month we showcase a Black bookstore. The bookstore for this month is Afriware, and Afriware is actually in Maywood, but they have such an integral role to play in a lot of what happens in the Black community that we support Afriware. And then we have a book giveaway, and our book giveaway of the month is Kwame Nkrumah's Midnight Speech for Independence by Useni Jenkins and Laura Freeman. And all you have to do to win this book is to subscribe to our website. And you go to our website, we have an online store, and you can also make donations. The other business or institution that we are supporting is the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. They're the only Black-owned bank that we have here in Chicago. They're situated in Washington Park at 54th and Wentworth, and we encourage people to make deposits at the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. We're putting all our money in Chase. We're putting all our money in Citibank. We're putting all our money in PNC and Fifth Third and Harris Bank and Wells Fargo and all of these other banks. But when you deposit your money into a bank, you give that bank the opportunity to create more money so they can provide more financial support to the community. And that's not happening. So we have to become more cognizant of where our dollars are going. So tonight we have a guest host, and that's Travion Cannon, and he's stepping in for Gregory Sane. Gregory Sane, we want to send out our prayers for his mom. She is not well, and Greg has a lot of things on his plate, so he wasn't able to be with us tonight. But Travion has stepped in, and he's actually stepped in on a couple of levels with our organization because he's also taking over our website where Brother Simon Ageto, our brother from Kenya, who actually helped to build our website, it has been with us since we started. But Simon has to work, and he's not able to be involved to the level that we actually needed. So Brother Travion had agrees to step in, and he's a wonderful young man. He's actually an entrepreneur himself. He's a marketing specialist. He builds websites. And so these two, him and our guest tonight, Darnell Gaffney, who is the proprietor of Space Age Marketing, and they're located on East 75th Street in Chatham. Is that correct? Okay.
425 East 75th. That is correct.
All right. And this is their business card. Okay. One of their business cards. We actually went to them when we started our organization, and we got our business cards made there. And I have to say, they do wonderful work. I have to say, they're very efficient, and the customer service is wonderful. And so tonight, we're bringing Brother Darnell Gaffney on our podcast and Travion in a wonderful discussion about this type of business in our communities. So without any further commentary, I'm going to turn this over to Travion Cannon. Thank you.
All right. So, thank you so much for that introduction. But yeah, Darnell, I just kind of wanted to know, getting into the podcast here, how did you get started into this business model? And when you got started, was there something else that you were doing? How'd you get started?
Real simple, man. I was in college. I went to college at Hampton University in Virginia. So the year was 1999. I had finished up college in '99. I was fiddling around looking for a business to start, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna start a candle business because at that time there was no internet. Hey man, there was no
Yeah.
internet. There was nowhere to look up the information. So I said, you know what? I think I can order candles, and I think I got enough money to buy a, an inventory of candles. So that's pretty much why I selected that business. I figured they was cheap. I could buy them. I was going to start a kiosk in the mall selling candles.
Yeah.
Okay. So now,
Uh-huh.
in pursuit of starting that business, I go to a store in Virginia, and it's very important.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to buy, I was getting ready to buy some software so that I could make my own brochures. And when I was standing in line, a guy walks up to me out the blue, a guy that I had absolutely no eye contact with or anything. He walks up to me and say, "Hey, don't buy that. I can show you where you can get the top of the line software at for cheaper than what you about to buy." So I'm like,
Wow.
you know,
Really?
I'm young. I'm young. I'm 21 at the time. I'm thinking, hey man, why are you in my business? So and so, so and so. But I didn't say anything. I just hushed my mouth. And the guy said, you know what? I'm about to go down here to this place, and you can follow me there. So we're in Newport News, Virginia. So make a long story short, I follow him to the store, and it is a place where you could actually rent software. That's where he took me. Okay. So
Oh,
we get to
cool.
the place. Yeah, we end up getting to the place, and he showed me the same program that I use now. He went and said, "This is Adobe Photoshop. You need to take it home. You make a copy, okay?" He said, "You make a copy, and then you can bring it back, so you can rent the software for $25." So I looked the man in the eye after about 5 minutes of thinking, and I said, "Hey, um, I don't know how to make a copy. It's 1999. I didn't know how to make a copy."
Yeah.
Hey, so
Yeah.
hey, so So Travion, the guy was so cool. The guy said, "I tell you what, come
Hmm.
back to my house and I make you a copy." So we go
Oh
from meeting
wow.
you, we go from
Yeah.
meeting you
A
30
few
minutes
minutes
ago,
ago.
and now I'm going to your house. Okay, so I end up going to the guy's house. The guy made a copy. The guy made a copy, made himself a copy, and he said, "Now you can take it back." So that was the seed of how I started my. That was the seed, man. Me
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
that.
That's
Me
interesting.
getting.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good. Okay, so you took off with that, and kind of when you first started learning how to use it, when did you see your, your first couple customers? How did you start getting that beginning interest in Photoshop?
All right. So it's real. So here's a little bit more to the story. So when
Okay.
the guy gave me Photoshop, I took it back home. I took it back home. I put it in my computer. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. Went back to the store and bought that same program that he told me not to buy because that program was easier. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I took Photoshop. I threw Photoshop off to the side. And maybe about 6 months later, my friend said, a close friend of mine said, "Man, didn't you say you had Photoshop?" I said, "Yeah." So my friend said, "I tell you what, I learned how to use Photoshop and you go do the sales." So I went out, I did a
Hmm.
few sales, and the first company that I made the sale with was a company I was working with. We ended up doing some business cards for them. So it started off with us doing business cards, man. So that was how I got my first sale.
Awesome, dude. I mean, that's pretty interesting. I've been really centered in marketing. I'm really big advocate of self-taught. You sit there,
Yeah,
you learn it, and I'm kind of like you. If I don't see the value, and I might push off to the side, but that's what kept me centered in marketing because I see there's a lot of value, there's a lot of demand, and and kind of leading up to my next question, with your designs you're doing banners, business cards, door hangers. Like, what are some things that you think that you can still expand in doing? Are you kind of at plateau, or do you think that your business model can still expand?
man, I'm gonna just be honest. I think I suffer from what a lot of small businesses suffer from is we gotta, as small businesses, we gotta create a process so that we can expand. Okay, and like for a lot of small businesses, Trevion, it's not a process is normally what we make it. There's no you do A B and it equals C. No, in small business, sometimes you have to figure out what the A is. You got to figure out what the B is to
Yeah.
equal C. And I think that's why a lot of small businesses we stay small is because we haven't created that process to make things happen and just flow without you there at the business. So what do I think I can expand? I think everything can expand once that process, that
Wow.
streamlined process, uh,
Mhm.
has been mastered.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And when you were coming up and you were first getting your business off the ground, when did you actually get that building off of 75th? When did you actually land there and start business?
And well, honestly, I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
Okay, and I started my business. Actually, I moved back to Indiana to help my mother out because my mama had a flower shop. Okay,
Oh,
so I
really?
came back. Yeah, I came back to render her assistance with her flower shop, and then it evolved. It evolved. What was the question you just asked me, Trayvon? I'm thinking about
Yeah.
the
No.
flower shop,
No.
man.
It's
I done
not.
forgot the
No.
doggone question.
It's a very open ended. I just want to learn more about you. That's probably me just jumping straight into it. I initially asked, when did you start the brick and mortar business that you have today?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I
Yeah.
started in Gary, and when I started in Gary, I noticed that I was my Gary, Indiana people. They really supported me. Okay, but I noticed by the numbers when I went to Chicago, it was way more numbers in Chicago than it was in Gary, Indiana. Okay, so if
Mhm.
five people told me no in Chicago, then it's still another 50, 60, 100 people that I can approach to
Yeah.
say
On the
yes.
next
Okay,
block, definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Mhm.
ended up going to Chicago, and like some of my first clients that I got once I had my brick and mortar in Gary were Chicago clients, and they drove from Chicago. So I got to thinking, like, man, the first guy, he drove from Chicago, and he said that he found my flyer on the ground and he picked it up. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Then the next guy I met, I think I was going door to door in Chicago, just giving people my flyers. So I'm like, man, these people really drive to Indiana. So that's what that's what got me involved with. I had a brick and mortar in Indiana for quite some time, and then in
Yeah.
2007, that's when I said I'm gonna go and try out a brick and mortar in Chicago, which at first was on Ashland Street, and then we moved to 75th Street.
Mm. Man, it sounds like you got a lot of drive. You sound like me now. You said that you got started when you were like 21. That's when you first picked up the software. I'm 22 right now, getting started in marketing, but I'm more of like a software type of guy. I'm like solutions type of guy.
Yeah,
Like, where do you get all this drive from? Like, did somebody in your family bring that up in you? Did you have like a mentor who, like, man, where do you get all this fuel from?
man, real talk, man. It probably come from honestly the seed of it was probably the principles that my dad instilled in me. Like, because
Yeah,
these principles still apply today. Like, like principles that I see people like violating. Like you got to
yeah, like
respect
what?
people. Like, 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 like you got to give people the same respect that the same respect that you expect. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, you have to do things like if you if you do the job, you got to do the job well. Or basically, don't do it at all if you're not going to do a good job at it. Okay,
Pretty much.
so it's all those little principles that I stand on now that I was taught as a youngster that really helped me out. Like what's funny, man, is that senior citizens love me. Like at my business, they love me. Well,
No, it's just funny
hey
saying.
man, hey man, but that go back to my dad teaching me. You got to respect people. You got to respect your elders. So when my older crowd coming there, my seniors, man, they just drop their money, man, and they walk out the door, man, because they know they're in great hands. So
Mm,
when you say my drive, it came from the principles that I learned early on, and it's the same. Like here's something funny. A lady walked by the store the other day. A lady I had never met. So I speak to her. I said, "How you doing, ma'am?" She said, "I'm cool. I'm doing fine. How you doing, young man?" I said, "I'm cool." And now I noticed that this lady had her gold chain, her gold herringbone was connected to her face mask. Okay, connected
okay.
to her face mask. And I said, "Ma'am, I think you got your gold chain on wrong." So the lady I had just met on 75th Street, I took her
Uh-huh.
gold chain, I took her gold chain off and put it on her correctly. Okay, man. So it's
Yeah.
just a little
Oh,
being, being able to connect with your people, man, is very important, man.
yeah. That probably turned into more of a deeper conversation. And it's kind of weird with the onset of COVID. People get so separate. They almost act like they're unfamiliar to their brothers and sisters. And I've always tried to be as nice as possible. I follow, kind of like you. My grandparents instilled in me some of the same values of do right to others, do unto others as you like to be done unto. Don't lie, don't steal. Always try
Hey,
your
man.
hardest. Things like that.
Hey, here's the deal. I believe money shouldn't change your values. Money,
Oh,
here it is. There's there's no amount of money. Well, there is an amount, but it's no amount right now that can have me cussing around my grandmother. Okay,
yeah,
okay, and and
right.
and and, and I say that to say like um I have a comedian that come over my house every year, and when the comedian comes over my house, like during the holidays, and we have a little uh I have a little entertainment for my family. And the first thing I tell the comedian, hey man, can't do no cussing at my house, man. My mom and grandmama gonna be there, man.
Good,
Hey
good.
man, hey man, ain't nothing changed since I got older. Okay,
No,
nothing changed. So
yeah.
when you say drive, man, it's all them principles, man, that make up the
Mhm.
drive, man.
Yeah, I mean,
All of them.
it's principles, it's ideologies, it's things like that that keeps me driven even today. So I mean, I think we share a lot of qualities like that. I also like wanted to ask, um, when you have all these customers coming in wide and far, and most times most people don't know the industry. They don't know too much about graphic design. They don't know much or nothing about printing. Kind
Right?
of how do you go off to describe that to them in a way that doesn't kind of offend them, doesn't make them kind of get information overload? Every industry is different, but kind of do you have like a method in which that you can let people understand what you do? Just be patient with you.
Man, so let me make sure I understand you first. So you saying how do I get people to be patient when they come in and ask for something that they really don't know what they want?
Pretty
Is that what
much,
you're
yeah.
asking?
That's what I'm asking. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That don't
All
understand
right.
the industry. Hmm.
All right. So for example, I'm gonna give you we do a lot of obituaries, okay? We known in
Yeah,
Chicago for doing obituaries. So like the best way I handle that when people come in, and usually they come in for an obituary at the last minute. Okay, I mean that's usually just how it is, man. You know, you get about 50% of people that come in on time, and the other 50% are last minute. So what I tell them is just tell me the picture that you want on the front and back, and then if you have faith in me to let me design it for you, that's where you're going to get your best product at, because now you don't put any limitations on me. And I try to let people know the less limitations that they put on me, the best product that they're going to get. And then
yeah,
and then the analogy that I give them is I give them, if you give somebody a whole bunch, if you give a a home decorator a whole bunch of if you tell them that I want you to decorate this house and I need you to put all this furniture in there, and you give them a gang load of furniture, well, guess what? If you want your house to look nice, you might just let them you might need to let them put their furniture where they see it needs to go, versus because if you tell them the TV needs to go here and the sofa needs to go here, and you got all this other furniture, well, they're kind of lost now. They can't make the house look nice because now you've put a lot of limitations on them. So that's like the
yeah.
analogy that I give them. The more freedom that you give me, the best product that you're gonna have.
Exactly. I like that. I like that. Let's see. Uh, so you being in the community, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask. How long have you actually had this business situated right there? Like, how long have you been, in Chicago?
Well, first of all, to answer it, how long I've been in business? This year makes 20 years. 20 years. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so let's see. Well, it makes 20 years that I started in '99, but I went full fledged since 2001. Okay, and how long I've been in Chicago? I've been in
yeah.
Chicago since 2007. I got a location in 2007. Uh, it was in the Inglewood area. Uh, I didn't think that wasn't an ideal location for me, so I found another location. That was on 75th. I was there. That was 2 blocks from where I'm at now. I was there for about 8 years. I was on 75th in St. Lawrence. Now I'm on 75th in
Uh,
Vernon, which is right off King Drive. So I've been in my current location for about 5 years now.
about five.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And for someone like myself, I do internet marketing from home. I want to branch out. I'm actually looking to a commercial business myself now. Um, I guess just directly to me. Would you have any advice that you give somebody that they want to start branching out? They want to get a physical business before they just jump out and get it. Kind of, what would you get somebody? What would you tell somebody?
Man, the biggest advice I would give them is build your database first. Don't go nowhere. Don't open up like if you want to open up a restaurant, man, start selling, man, start giving people menus and start delivering stuff on Thursdays and Fridays, or Fridays and Saturdays. Start building up that database, man. Give people some delicious food, and now when you get ready to open up your business, you already got a whole bunch of people that's ready to walk in your door on day one. So that's what I always tell
Yeah,
people every time they ask me. And then people say, well, like people tell me, they say, well, I want to start a restaurant, but I can't afford to right now. So I tell them, I say, well, it's a whole bunch of people that got kitchens for rent, and you can actually go rent the kitchen out,
hmm,
and you can go rent their kitchen, and you in a commercial kitchen that meets all the zoning and requirements and whatever laws with the city, and you can run your business out of that kitchen, and now you may be paying say $300 a month with no utilities, no nothing. You just come in there and you use the kitchen for a few
yeah,
days a week or whatever the case may be. So it's all type of ways that I tell people, build your clientele before you open that business. Do not open that business until you build your clientele. When I say open the business, don't open that brick and mortar
yeah.
until you build your clientele. Because if you open it and you ain't built your clientele, get ready. Get ready to start losing a little money. Okay?
Yeah, pretty much.
Be ready.
Yeah, you don't just jump into the game thinking that your business is instantly gonna flourish. You know,
That's
yeah, yeah. So, okay,
the
how did you survive during like them dry seasons, like during this pandemic?
man. How did I survive, man?
Yeah,
Thankfully, I know how to do everything in my business. So when one person got laid off, second person got laid off, hey man, thankfully I knew what to do, so I could get in where I fit in. Okay,
mm,
so if I had to deliver something to somebody or I had to design something for somebody, I had to print it. Hey man, I was I'm that guy that hey, long as I'm not sick, I'm good.
yeah,
I'm gonna figure out long as I ain't sick, I'm gonna figure out a way. Okay? So
mm,
um
okay,
thankfully I was still willing to go to work and I was still willing to do what it takes. So man, that's pretty much how I got through the pandemic. I don't think we saw I don't think my business, besides losing an employee, a very good employee, besides that, that was probably the worst that happened to us during the pandemic.
yeah,
And when I say losing a when I say losing them, uh, I mean losing them as working, not losing them as passing away.
yeah. As a
Okay.
passion, yeah,
Yeah.
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 Okay. And with what I'm doing in marketing, I struggle with delegating tasks out to people because I'm sometimes a perfectionist. I like to do it how I like to do it, or I've learned how to do so much, and I'm kind of afraid just to release the bearings and let somebody else do it. Um, and I guess like moving forward, is this the type of business and where you have right now that you could step away maybe a week, a month, a year, and let it run itself, or you still need to kind of work all the controllers yourself?
All right. Pre-pandemic, I could probably step away. Okay. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
ain't no stepping away. Right now, we making sure that we maintain it, we staying afloat. I just hired someone else, and we're training them. So nah, that's where I want to get back to, where I can step away. But right now, nah, it's no stepping away. But I tell you, what this pandemic did is it really started exposing your weaknesses. Like areas that you need to get stronger in.
Yeah,
Like so it definitely I mean like something so simple as a training manual. So when you get someone new on, how do you train them? Just like you just said, you're a perfectionist. Well, if you're a perfectionist, then when you train somebody to do what you got to do, you got to train them in a perfectionist type of way. This is what you got to do. Then after you do this is what you have to do. But guess what? If you don't have no training manual, like I'm working on my training manual now, so it's hard to scale your business when you don't have that training manual.
yeah, yeah.
So
Really.
so
Okay. Let's see. And then with you getting the training materials, with you getting your A1 team together and you being in business, kind of, do you still have people trying to, take you down? People trying to compete with you? People opening up across the street? Like, are your customers? Do they have that effect where they want to stay with you? Have you like instilled that with your customers, or um, the people that's coming in across the street? All these other competitors, these freelance guys. Um, Let me make sure
hey,
I'm asking this question right.
oh no, you got your question right. You got it right.
Okay,
I understood exactly what you're saying.
gotcha.
So hey, there's no Trevion, there's the way that I look at it is there's
Mm,
so much opportunity out here that if you focus on the opportunity, you don't have time to focus on the competitors. Now, what am I
wow,
talking
that's a gem right there.
What am I talking about opportunity? If you took down right now and you wrote down all your opportunity that you have and you focused on that, you'll be like, man, I ain't got time. So what's one opportunity? Is your business minority certified? Um, um, are you on are you on all the vendor lists that you can find in the city of Chicago? Because if you get on these vendors lists and if you become minority certified, if you're working on getting your Dun and Bradstreet stuff correct so that you can qualify for loans. When you start focusing on your business in that type of way, you'll
Yeah,
find you don't have time to focus on the competitors because it's so much opportunity out here that your competitors aren't even focusing on. Now I can't speak on every single business because, but I can speak on mine. There's so many government contracts, so many city contracts that I haven't taken advantage of, haven't applied for. Like even if somebody else moved across the street from me, Like I would be focused on that, so I wouldn't even have time to focus on what somebody else is doing.
Yeah.
Now I don't know, I don't I don't know how it works for every business, but I can speak for me and my print business. You know, that's what worked for me.
Okay. Good. Good. And maybe stepping away from the business section, like, how do you find that work-life balance? All these people, they workaholics. They working 40, 50 hours a week. How do you go ahead just get that balance? Stick to your family.
Hey man, hey, I work hard, so I don't know. I might not be the right one to ask that question. Hey man,
Yeah.
hey
No.
man,
Work for it.
hey,
Okay.
I left out at 7 this morning and only got back at 7 o'clock just for this podcast. Otherwise, I probably would have still been at work. So I don't know. I don't know. I say it's fun for me working. Okay, when
Mm-hmm.
the only time I step away,
Sweet.
I tell you the stuff I step away from. I step away from my 7-year-old son football game. I step away with my son doing something. That's the stuff that matter to me in life. Okay.
Yeah.
I step away if my wife want to go on a vacation or something like that. We don't go on a whole bunch of vacations, but if she want to go on one, then we go on one. So hey, I enjoy this. This is fun. And
That's good.
when I'm not doing
Okay.
it, hey Travion, when I'm not doing it, I'm sitting around looking for a computer, man, so I can get on. Okay. So
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah. That's really so okay. Yeah. Um. Man, I'm just trying to think now because I'm trying to get into business. I'm trying to level up. I'm trying to get, and of course, the viewers of
what's
podcasts. You said
what's
what?
holding you up? What's holding you up? You said that major word.
Uh,
I'm trying. I'm
Sometimes
trying.
the fear of success, the fear of I'm in it, I'm going, and something else goes wrong, or having a lack of control of a thing. Sometimes the fear of getting to that point stops me. You know, like I should be earning more than what I probably am with my marketing services. I should be having a big old client list, but I think like me and other people maybe within my age range, with the booming internet and what we know how to do, it's hard for us to take off and do some of these things because the fear of reaching maybe what our previous generation was already at. All these other things bogging me down. That's kind of what's a main obstacle in my way right now.
Man, you just made me think, man. Like,
Oh,
like I could say the same thing, but for me, it'll be just bull jiving and ain't doing it. I wouldn't even say fear for me, just bull jiving and ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? Finding a reason not to do it. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Because then when I look at it, fear what? What the heck am I scared of? And it might be the same for you, or it might not. Like, what the heck are we really scared of? Okay,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
sometimes you just got to go do it. Sometimes you just got to go do it and deal with whatever the consequences are, especially as it relates to your business.
Hmm. Yeah. So
You know,
okay. So if I went ahead and just went full force in my business, and like all the other people that are freelancing, they're doing music, they're doing whatever have you, would you think it would be a good idea just for them to go forward with that, or you still are? Is there someone else that believes more so? Keep a job and have that as like a minor thing. What do you think would be like the most smartest idea with how industries change and how the world's looking now? Think it
I
would be.
say, I say, this is what I say. I say, whatever they decide, they need to create a plan and then work that plan. Cause see, if you got some children over here that need to eat, you don't need to quit your job because you got to feed them. But you can still attack your dream if you got a plan. Okay, your plan might be you might do this on the weekends, or you might do it after you come home for work. So I'll just say it's almost like losing weight. Like you got the Atkins diet, you got the keto diet, you got people running. Guess what? It all works if you execute it. It all works. Everybody diet work if you execute the diet. So I'm a fan of whatever your plan is, make your goals and then just go execute it. And for you, it might mean somebody keeping a job, but also putting X amount of hours in towards their dream at the same time. It's gotta you gotta it's
Yeah.
life is real, so you gotta weigh factors in on people that depend on you. And I think that's a very important. Like for instance, you young. So,
Hmm.
so, and I'm young too. Me and you both young, but you look a little younger than me. Okay,
Yeah,
but
I'm in
he-
22.
yeah, yeah. So look. So now you don't have as many um um people that depend on you as you will when you get 45 or 55. Okay. So right
Hmm.
now I tell you, man, whatever somebody, especially at that young age, want to do, man, go ahead on and do it. But it all boils down to, like I said, get that plan. No matter how old you are, execute that plan. Execute it.
Yeah. Okay. That's the point I'm at right now. I feel that I'm at right that point where if I just drive a little harder, if I try something else, if I just keep going, man, I could probably take off. Um, and I think at this time I wanted to kind of ask more like when you were at that point when you were first getting things off the ground, you were really scaling, scaling up. I kind of want to hear more about that time when business started coming in. Were you just by yourself at that time? Did you have someone else already working with you during like your kind of the peak of everything, right before you really took off?
I am still scaling, first of all. Okay.
You
We're
are.
still making this, we're still making this business work.
Oh,
Okay. It's
really?
it's a hey, it's a everyday tweaking this, tweaking that. This don't
Uh
work,
huh.
you try this. But hey, I could truthfully say, you say when this business was scaling, how was it working? Hey man,
Yeah, yeah.
hey, all I know is I went from a time where for me the scaling of the business was where I could start paying the bills of the business. Okay. That's what scaling meant for me when I didn't have to come up with some ingenious plan to pay the bills. Okay. Some Einstein rocket scientist
Yeah.
uh a mathematical plan on how I'm gonna come up with $4,500 by tomorrow. Okay,
Hmm.
so when that stopped, cause see that's enough to drive people out of business right there. Okay, the things that I've done and got creative to make that money happen instantly, man, but I knew I wanted to do it. I guess it's like fun for me to figure this out. So when I got to the point, man, where I could pay bills consistently, that right there, that right there was a great feeling for me.
Mm.
That alone, I mean, where I could pay all this month's bills with no problem, and I ain't got to call nobody and say, I need you to hold this over for next month. Can I pay you half now? You know,
Yeah.
and I've seen everything with a business. I done seen evictions. I done seen you got to move out by this time. Man, I done seen it all, man. So when you say scale, man,
Yeah.
for me it was just making enough. I got to a point where the business where I could pay all the employees and pay myself. Man, for a small business, that's a very good feeling.
That's a big part. Yeah, man. So, but what's next? You said that you're still scaling. Like, do you have any other plans? What's your, you
Man,
know?
getting the process. Well, we looking at the location that I'm in now. We kind of outgrowing that location, so we're looking to expand. Like stay in our same location, but we're looking to expand. So right now we're working on the process, getting the process together so that we can open up more locations and and it's a streamlined process because if the process ain't right, I don't want the headache because that's all it's gonna be is a headache, man, and I don't want it. So it's got to be perfect, and then we want to offer services to our community. Um, it's little services to the community that I thought was outdated, and my community still need them. Something so simple as faxing, man. People come in, they need to print out somebody need to print out their Section 8 document off their phone today. So and then we help them print it out off their phone. So I just want to be
Wow.
there, offer stuff to the community, um, and just be an asset to the community. That's
Okay.
that's 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 definitely. But to answer your question, all that's gonna come with opening up more locations when the process gets streamlined.
Okay. And with the name of the podcast, we're restoring, we are rebuilding, we're growing these black communities. In your initiatives, what are some other ideas that you think that, um, as a black community, what can we do for each other to continue growing, so we don't have to rely on others, so we can circulate our black dollars?
Well, I'm gonna just speak on. I don't know if it. I think it's relevant to your question. I'm not 100% sure if it actually answers the question, but I think it's very relevant to your question. I know what makes me an asset to the community. I'm like on the front line. So when I say on the front line, like, like I have a storefront, I have a door, my desk is kind of my personal desk is kind of close to the door. I'm close to the window, so I see everybody that walk past. I speak to everybody that walk past. I have to. I say hello to everybody that walks past. I'm having
Yeah,
conversation with a lot of people, so I'm getting to know my community. I'm also I'm also having dialogue with I'm having dialogue with these people in my community. They're telling me their problems, and then I'm feeding them with ways that they can overcome their problems. I'm feeding them with things that they should not do because it's going to have severe consequences. A young man came to me one day and he said, and the young man called me boss man. He said, "Hey, boss man, man, somebody messed with my girlfriend's car yesterday, and I'm gonna have to go do so and so, so and so, so and so to him." And I say, all right, I understand you mad. But if you go do so and so, so and so, so and so to him, it's gonna have some so and so consequences. Okay.
yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah,
now
that's
so
consequences.
now I saw him a few days later, and I said, "Man, did you go do what you told me you was gonna do?" He said, "No, boss man, I ain't even do it." I said, "Good look, good look." But now that's just one of the conversations. I had the conversation yesterday with somebody. I had a conversation today with somebody. So for me, for what I'm doing, how I'm helping my community is the people that are. I get a chance to talk to the people that are hurting the most. Okay, I get a chance to talk to that person that's that feel like they ain't got nowhere else to turn, and they about to give somebody the business or whatever. I'm able to get them. I'm able to get them some positive fuel, positive, and it feels real good when you see the the local somebody that's clearly has some type of addiction, maybe it's drug addiction or alcohol. They walk past you and they say, "Hey, boss, I have a lot of respect for you. I have a lot of respect for you." So it's just little stuff like that, man. That's that's my 2 cents that I'm giving back
Yeah.
to the community, to the people that need it most. That people probably ain't talking to them like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's
That's
my
powerful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, I want to kind of get a little bit more from you. So, with your business, where can more people find you? Like, do you have an Instagram? Do you publish anything on YouTube? Do you have like any
Hey,
tutorials where you can teach more people the process?
hey, they can find me at 773-723-7746, or they can
Mm-hmm.
find me at www.spaceagemarketing.com. Once again, spaceagemarketing.com. They can't find me on Instagram right now, and you probably won't find me on Facebook because we're very busy and we haven't been doing any posting whatsoever. We are very busy trying to get the orders out and make sure people's orders are on time. Okay, so we we don't have no time for Facebook and Instagram right now. We need
Yeah,
to,
that's
but
why
we
I've been
don't.
waiting for you back. Yeah, because you're just trying to get to the customers, keep it going.
Man, we
Mm-hmm.
trying to keep man, we trying to keep people happy, man. We trying to keep people coming back. And what's most important to a business, Instagram ain't most important, Facebook ain't most important. What's most important is when that customer is reaching out to you, whether it be a phone call or whether they be walking in, what's most important is what type of attention are you giving that customer? Because you could be all on Facebook, you can all be on Instagram. You got a customer right in front of you that's trying to give you money, and you're not even taking care of them properly. So it's my motto is I'm gonna take care of the person first that already paid me. So if you paid me and you gave me a deposit, I got to take care of you. I ain't looking for nobody else right now. So that's my motto.
Okay. Man, that's that's good. What we do as a podcast, we try to get your message out there, let more people learn about your business. We try to grow our own communities and advertise yourself on our site. So one of the newest features that we've added is we can actually give you a profile, and more people can come check out your business through Google My Business. So someone can get location, directions to you. They can check out your website, give you a call. So when we actually want to do some advertising for you, do you have any current deals, discounts, anything else that you want to publish to the people and the watch, the listeners of the stream?
Man, I tell people that my prices did not go up during the pandemic. The prices have stayed the
Oh,
same. Okay, so
that's
business
good.
cards are still the same. You get 1,000 business cards for $40 now. We will be doing a price increase soon to so that it can be so that it can match what our costs are. You know, our costs have changed, but we haven't changed our prices. So they can still come get 1,000 postcards for $100 or 5,000 of them for $139. Okay, so they'll find that our pricing structure for like our flyers and business cards and banners and stuff is some of the best in Chicago.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, so let's see, just wrapping up the podcast for this evening. Um, for the listeners and the people that are still in the stream, for the people that are trying to grow their business, they're trying to be more like Darnell, people that want to start their brick and mortar, people who want to get out there, end and off. Would there be any other, end off tips that you give people that are, they're only just listening, but they want to get started, they want to get a business, they want to, you know, get propelled out there? Would you think that yeah, what type of other piece of advice would you give for somebody who's just kind of stuck on the sidelines? They're just kind of having that paralysis of, man, I want to get started, but that far off goal of getting a business, getting situated, making, over X amount a year is not tangible. How would you help somebody get past that paralysis feeling?
Hey, well, I tell them like this: a business is sort of kind of just like going to college. Well, it ain't just like going to college, but you can kind of relate the two. Um, when you go to college, everybody has so much fun freshman year. They have so much fun sophomore year. They have so much fun um, junior year, senior year. Why are they having so much fun? Because it's not you're going there for the graduation, but it's so much fun. The fun is really in the progress and what you're
Mm,
doing on a daily basis. That's what the fun is.
that's what
What you
it's
did,
about.
what you did today. What you actually the graduation is sad because it's over. Really, you're celebrating, but it's sad. People are crying because it's over. The fun is over.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, but unlike business is kind of like that going to school, except it don't have to be over until you say it's over. And what I tell that person that's trying to um, is trying to make a move with their business, treat it like college. Make some progress every single day. Just make some
Mm,
progress. Write down something and do something because it's the progress that makes you happy. That's what makes you happy is the progress. So even if your business may not, even if you didn't get where you wanted to get, there's still a certain amount of happiness that's located in progress. Okay, progress
yeah.
alone progress alone can bring about happiness. So I tell that person, along with create the plan, the happiness and the progress also comes along with making that plan, like we talked about, and just execute it, man. Make the plan and execute.
Okay, good, good. Thank you.
Yes, yes. I see another face that just appeared on the
Yeah,
screen.
you know, Denise.
Denise, we can't hear you, Denise.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Still can't hear you. Still can't hear you, Denise.
Mm-mm.
Still can't hear you.
Still cannot hear
You are officially been muted by yourself.
you. Yep, I think
Can
we
you
can hear
hear
you
me
now.
now?
We
Yes,
can hear you loud and clear.
there you
Loud and
go.
clear.
Okay, great, great, great. It's been wonderful listening to this conversation because I mean, Travion's asking you some very intricate, intricate questions about
Yeah.
being in business,
Mhm.
and listening to you, um, it kind of reminds me of this movie I watched about Michael Jordan, and he in this documentary. It wasn't a movie; it was a documentary, but the reason he was able to do the things that he did is because he focused. He put everything else out. He got everything else out of his head, and he focused on winning. That's all he was focused on, and he was not distracted by other things that were going on. So, like during a game where they were losing, and people were booing or fans were leaving, and the other players were getting discouraged. And Michael never focused on that. He talked about how he didn't focus on that. He continued to focus on the win. And then the next thing you know, people out in the parking lot, they'd hear people screaming, you know, at the game, and they're back in the game again. And so as I listen to you talk, Darnell, it's like, even though we got gentrification and we got all kind of stuff going on in our community right now, all kind of violence, and then we got, COVID going on. You stay focused on your business and your clientele and your relationship with your customers. I know you talk about nothing else. You didn't focus on that, and that's how you've been able to thrive. You know.
Chase Bank said it best. Where the right relationship is everything. That's what Chase Bank say, and it's true. The right relationship is everything. Everything.
That's
You can
that's
shut
right.
you can shut your business down, and if you got your contact database, if you got your database, and you've been treating your customers right, all you have to do is call up and say, "Hey, I moved across town," and they all come across town just for you.
And that's all people want, is a good relationship, and that's really what I like about Travion. Since I've been working with him,
Huh?
it's a good relationship. That
Yeah.
we're building, that we're developing, and that's really what it's about:
Yeah.
developing relationships.
And Travion, didn't you say you was 22?
Yeah, I'm 22. Yes,
Oh man,
just
that's
turned on
awesome,
the
man.
Yeah,
October.
Man, that's awesome, man. I'm I'm very glad to see a 22-year-old that's shaking and moving and can do the things that you're doing, brother. Proud of you, man.
Thank you.
right.
It means a lot to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you gotta be focused on the money, but you gotta be focused on the business and the relationships that you develop with your people, and
Yeah.
the money will come. But a lot of people put the money first, and they just run right over their customers and everybody else. So,
A guy came into my office the other day, and I charged him $60 for something, for like a copy, and I had to scan, I had to email it. Dude told me it was too much. After I did it, I said, and he was pissed off. I said, I can't take your money. He said, no, take it. I said, I can't take it, man. You ain't happy.
mhm,
You ain't happy. And he
mhm,
Wow.
tried to force me. I told him I can't take it, man. So it's the happiness for me. The happiness with the client supersedes the money. Okay,
mhm.
the money is just a byproduct of the happiness. Okay,
That's right.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
That's right.
it's
That's
just a
right.
byproduct.
And
That's all.
those
It's just something that come along with it. That's all.
Mhm.
And
I
those
heard
those are
this
those
week.
those are those values that you talked about at the
Yeah.
beginning, that you got from people, and that's where we need to turn around in our communities, so that our communities can thrive with those types of values.
Yeah. Yeah.
I treat everybody as though they my brother, sister. When I talk to them, I send them a message like when they piss me off, I send them a message like they're a distant cousin. I talk to them like they're a distant cousin. It's only if you got a distant cousin, you're gonna still talk to your distant cousin with some respect and all that type of good stuff. So I treat them like a distant cousin. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I had a question I wanted to ask you, because one of the
Go ahead.
things I've noticed that has happened in
Hmm.
uh, in different parts of Chicago, where we once had a lot of black-owned businesses, is many of our businesses, because they didn't own the properties that they were in, and some had been in those properties for 30 years, or better, and then all of a sudden the owner want to do something else with with the business, and now they no longer have a place that people have been coming to for the last 30 years. And so what do you think about uh people owning the business that they're in, or how important that might be?
It's important, but then you got to ask yourself: are you prepared to handle the responsibilities that come along with having your own business? I mean, with having your own building and owning the building, you got to make sure you can put that roof on. You got to make sure you paying them taxes. You got to make sure that you paying your own garbage people to come. You got to pay for them. You got to make sure that if you got land, you got to make sure it's paved. You got to pay for landscaping. So it may not be the ideal situation for everybody. But what I do know is if that's not the ideal situation to own your own property, I know you need to be setting money aside so that in the event that your landlord says we're no longer renewing that lease, all you have to do is pick up that database that I told you to keep,
Yeah.
and you go get you another place and you tell your customers, hey, I'm moving, and then but before you sign that lease, before when you sign your lease, you may have to put in your lease that you tell your landlord they have to give you 6 months to move. They have to let you put that in your lease. So you just can't come to me in 30 days and tell me I got to move. You got to give me maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
And the landlord, if you've been somewhere long enough, they have no problem with that if you're paying your rent on time and all that type of good stuff. So what I'm saying is that come along with the territory. If you don't own the property, come along with the territory. All I can say is be ready. Be ready. Be ready.
Mm.
That's something that's like I pay my insurance every month. I ain't expecting nobody to break in. But if they do and they tear up something or the place catch on fire, I'm ready. So you gotta if you don't want to own it, if you want to own it, you gotta be ready. And if you don't want to own it, you still gotta
You
be ready.
gotta be
So
ready either way.
you know,
Yeah.
either way, you either got to be ready to put that new roof on. It's gonna cost you 15,000 if it's a small building, or if it's a big building, you got to have that 30,000 ready to put that roof on. Okay,
Yeah.
So either way, you need to have some money in your pocket. Okay,
Mm.
so.
Okay.
But to answer it, it really does help out if you can afford to own your own building. It really does give you a peace of mind if you can afford it. You don't have to worry about moving. You own your property. You ain't worried about nothing. Okay, so if you can own it, oh yeah, I definitely support that. I definitely
Okay.
hope I answered
Yeah.
your question too.
Yes, you did.
Answered
Yes,
it
you
for me.
did.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm looking into renting this commercial building downtown in where I'm situated, Fort Wayne, Indiana. And it would be a nice little hefty price, but it would force me to commit to my business. That's one of the troubles I don't want to say I've had, but I would struggle with committing so much to where this is going to be the one way I make this money to pay off this building, not stretch myself too thin. I was actually going to ask you that earlier when you first got started. Were you stretching yourself too thin? Um, and
Travion,
yeah,
hey, you're 22. You can get the building and live in it. You can live in it if you need to. Okay, you 22. Hey man, hey, you can live in it, do whatever, put your room in the back. These are all the things that entrepreneurs do to make it. Okay. So if you want to get that building, and that building is part of your vision and it's part of your plan, go ahead on and get that building, man. Don't waste no time. If it's part of your vision and your plan at the same time.
it
Okay.
is. Yeah,
Because see, if it's part of your vision and part of your plan and you really believe in it, you'll be like, I don't need nowhere to stay. I got a building. I can stay in my building if you believe in your plan and your vision.
yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Sure.
sir. Yes, sir.
Throughout this whole podcast, you definitely given me, and I hope many others, the drive, the anticipation that we can make it. Just to stick to the process, and I think I've definitely heard this from you already. You've been sticking to it. You are propelling yourself, and then you're still going. You even corrected me. I said, "Did you? Are you done scaling? Have you plateaued?" You corrected me. You said, "No, we're still going." So that's one thing I really admire from you, and I can see from your character, your business. It, I can see. I really didn't know too much about you any more than your business, but now that I know more about you and your business, it's basically it's like a part of you. The things that you learned from your parents, things that you've been doing for so many years, it becomes a part of your business, and that's part of my vision with getting this building and getting my business going. It's just about my vision and what I feel like is a good means for, man, stepping into 2022. It's been hectic 2021, but I think I can make it. Really.
Hey, you said you think you can make it. I know
I
you
will
can make
make
it.
it.
All
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
to do is make the move. And guess what? We all fail, but I don't even really look at it as failing, man. It's like a learning lesson, man. It's like
That's
Yeah.
right.
you win some, you lose some, man. You know what I'm
That's right.
saying? You
And see,
know?
this is a prime example of what we're talking about when we say Black-owned businesses can inspire,
Yes.
and be models for our young people. Travion is
Yeah.
listening to you, and he's asking you questions, and he's looking at you, and you're inspiring him. And this is just what we're talking about. We need to see our people in business, and this can help circulate the dollars. And so this has just been a wonderful dialogue.
Hey, I agree, and I want to say, Travion, hey
Yeah.
man, you seem like you got a bright future. Um, I see a lot of 22-year-olds. I see a lot of 22-year-olds every day that are nowhere near your, I want to say, aptitude and altitude. Okay, nowhere
Oh
near.
yeah.
You got great speaking ability. Um, um, man, you got all the components that it takes. You so close. All you gotta do is jump, man. You already there. You already there,
Yeah.
brother. Yes, yes. So I
Yeah.
want to tell you, hey man, yeah. Sometimes it's some. Hey, guess what? We all got fear. It's some things. It's some things that that I may not do, but like I said, the reason I don't do them, I don't even think it's fear. I just think it's just I don't know, man. Just maybe a little lackadaisical attitude, man. But to get back on you, hey man, I'm expecting good things out of you, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, hey, we definitely gonna have to keep contact after this
No
podcast. When I
doubt,
get to Chicago, man, I got to see you in person. We got to go meet up. You know.
no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
I agree. Definitely, let's make that happen.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Thank you.
Travion. Thank you, Darnell. I finally got you. I had to work hard to get this brother on because he's been so busy. And
Yeah.
No,
that's
the
a good
reason,
thing.
nah, but you, Denise, you are an excellent example of, man, you hounded me down. You was like, I told you I was, I told you I was busy that day, and I thought I scared you off because I was really busy, and you was able to see through a black business that was working hard, that was maybe a little understaffed, and you came back at me again, and you was like, Darnell, are you ready now? Are you ready for the podcast? I said, I absolutely am. So we appreciate you too, Denise.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we want to thank everyone for coming to this podcast. This has been a great podcast.
Yeah.
Please come back next Wednesday from 8 to 9. This podcast will be archived like all of the others on our website. So if someone didn't watch it live tonight, you can come back to our website at rrgbc.org and watch this podcast over again. And we're also asking you to come to our website and shop at our online store, and you can also donate. So thank you again. Have a
Yeah.
good night and
Thank you.
stay strong.